Well, good morning and welcome to another version of the 10-Minute Word. I'm so excited to be here with you this morning. Today, we're going to share with you 3 ways to get your spouse on board financially. You know, there are a lot of ways that a marriage can break down. And one of the main ways is finances. So I want to help you this morning talking about finances in your marriage. I'm going to play this video and then I will be right back.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in the presence of these witnesses to join Brad and Melissa in holy matrimony. Repeat after me. I, Melissa, take you, Brad, to be my lawfully wedded husband.
I, Melissa, take you, Brad, to be my lawfully wedded husband.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
For better, for worse, for richer and poorer, in debt and in bankruptcy. Thanks to the furniture you financed, your visa bill, and your student loans. And the 4-wheeler payments, the 15-foot bass boat, and the 63-inch plasma TV. From this day forward, till death do you part.
Don't let this be the way you start your marriage.
You know, a lot of people start their marriage that way because they don't plan. They don't think about it when they're in that moment. And that's what I want to talk about today. Today is going to be a little bit different day. So, you know, when you don't have money, it seems to be the only thing that's important. When you do have money and keeping it and acquiring more seems to be just as important, if not more than that. In this day and age, it's important for all of us to get a reminder that wealth is fleeting and that while it can be useful, it can also be fool's gold. See, it's meant as a tool and we can't take it with us when we go. I just want you to know that. It's meant as a tool while you're here, but you can't take it when you go. See, when you got married, the preacher probably said something like, now you become one. Now you become one. What he meant was you and your spouse are a team. You work together. But many couples let money problems drive a wedge in their relationship. See, sometimes one person wants to make things right. They want to start budgeting, they want to watch the spending, and they want to save money. But the spouse isn't having it. They might want to continue on this recklessly spending spree. So if you find yourself in that situation, how do you manage? And that's what I want to talk about today. How do you convince a reluctant spouse that you both have serious money issues that need to be taken care of? And it really boils down to 3 things. And I want to talk about these 3 things. The first thing is your words. See, simply put, you got to watch what you say. You got to stay away from the absolute words or phrases like, you never listen to me, or I always have to pay the bills. Ask your spouse for their opinion and then listen more than you speak. Remember, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. But encourage the person though. See, I've been reminded a few times that I can be more of an encourager. And that's what I'm telling you. Be more of an encourager. See, it doesn't do any good to get into a heated discussion about money issues. See, we all have made mistakes with money and some have been great and some maybe not so great, right? We're better off looking for ways that we can encourage our spouse to be a better steward of God's resources. You understand what I'm saying? Proverbs 31:26 says, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. So, guys, what I'm saying is listen a little. Okay. Number two, your tone. And what I'm doing today is talking with you about the 3 ways that you can get your spouse on board financially. And if it's the lady that's the issue, then guys, watch your words and watch your tone. If it's the guy that's the issue, ladies, watch your words. And number 2 is watch your tone. See, you know what it sounds like when someone speaks into this condescending tone, right? You understand what that is. Your eyebrows start to move up a little bit. Your eyes start rolling and sending negative signals to your spouse. See, most importantly, you got to be open to it, though. So strip out the emotions and the tone and listen for the words. Right? When you go into this conversation, you got to go into it with an open mind without preparing to automatically shut down everything that the other person is saying. See, your tone will reflect that spirit. So what you have to do is you got to prepare to go into this conversation and have this conversation with the proper tone so that then it can be received in the right way. Now, if you're the person that hasn't received the message, you have to strip out all the emotions and you have to listen for the words. Separate the emotions from the person. And sometimes those things can be hard to do, but you have to do it. So why do you think couples fight about money? See, I'm going to share 4 things with you why they fight about money. See, no 2 people are alike. I don't care how long you've been married or how short you've been married, how long you've been knowing each other. No 2 people are alike. We are different in many ways, right? We have our own views about money and what it should do for us and how we can use it. Right? We have our own belief system that we brought into the relationship from childhood, what our parents taught us about money or didn't teach us about money, right? Everyone has unique experiences that have shaped their money values. So you got to talk about these things really up front. So, but here's some of the most common reasons why couples fight over money. Number 1 is different philosophies, right? The two dominant differences are when one spouse is a saver and the other is a spender. Now I'm going to say this: I'm a spender. I'm a spend. Well, I'm spending on some things, right? I've learned to control it, but I'm the spender, right? So you got to have this conversation where your differences are. You got to know what your differences are, first of all. And then you got to be able to have conversations and strip out the emotions, because the emotions will take over the conversation and you'll never get anywhere. See, although marriages where both are savers are pretty cool sometimes, or you might have a marriage where both are spenders. That's definitely going to be a problem. That's financial ruin if you have 2 spenders, right? You can never have fun if you have 2 savers, right? Because everybody's trying to save everything. The thing what you want to have is a good balance between saving and spending, because you're not supposed to just work, save. You're supposed to also enjoy life. That's what God put you here for, to enjoy life, have a little bit of fun, but just do it responsibly. The second reason why couples fight over money: one spouse makes more money than the other spouse. That's one conversation. That's one argument I can say we never had. I was always the breadwinner. I was always the one making the most money. But let me tell you what, folks. If you can put that aside, put your egos, fellas, I'm talking to the fellas here. You got to put your ego aside. If the woman is the breadwinner, put your ego aside. It's for both of you guys. And let her be the breadwinner. That's okay. And women, if he's the breadwinner, then let him be the breadwinner. And don't try to dominate it. Number three, the third reason why couples fight about money is different goals. One spouse wants to save for a boat, the other one wants an Italian vacation. So you got to have conversations around this. You got to talk about it so that you understand, so that everybody understands and knows what the goals are. Number four reason why couples fight about money is support for grown children or other relatives that drag down your money each month or each year. And after a while, let me tell you what, folks, if you're the spouse that's supporting your other family members, trust me, after a while, that's going to drag down your marriage. It's going to drag down your relationship. You can't continue to support everybody and then neglect your family, meaning your spouse and your children. Yes, you may be blessed with some things, but you can't give it all to your family members. Everybody has a leg, two legs to stand on, and sometimes they're going to have to sink or swim on their own, and they're going to have to learn how to manage what they have, because what you're doing is you're creating, one, you're eliminating boundaries. Two, you're creating a dependency on you. Sometimes you have to say no. I know how to say no. It took a while, but I know how to say no. Now I don't have to say no because people don't call me with all that stuff. But there are times when you're going to say yes, but you can't put that burden on your family. So the four reasons why couples fight about money is different personalities. One spouse is a spender, another is a saver. They have different goals, and then supporting grown children or other family members. After a while, it weighs on everybody. So, of the three ways to get your spouse on board financially, the first one was you got to watch your words. Watch what you say. Number two was your tone. Watch how you say it. My grandfather used to tell me, Cedric, you can send someone to hell. It's just dependent on how you send them that will determine if they enjoy the ride or not. He said, if you send them in a Cadillac, they're going to enjoy the ride. But if you send them in a Ford Pinto, they might not like the ride as much. So send them in a Cadillac. I always remember that. And, sometimes I may send them in a Pinto, but he says send them in a Cadillac so they can enjoy the ride. Number three is your timing. Remember, this conversation is just a starting point to address your money issues. You aren't going to sit down and write a budget just yet. You want to sit down and just have a meeting at first. You want to plan at first, right? Just to see where everybody is and to try to get everybody on board, your spouse rather, on board. Right? You're not going into the full budget yet. And if you're one of these people that's a all the details type person, hold off on that yet, because you're going to overwhelm the other spouse or significant other if you bring it all to that first meeting. Right? That said, your timing is still incredibly important. You know, Luke 14, 28 and 30 through 30 says, for which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it, lest after he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. So in other words, you got to prepare first. You got to have that first planning meeting first. Then you start preparing to build that building. You start preparing to change your financial future. You start preparing to take your family to the next level. So you got to pick the time when the kids are asleep, or maybe they aren't even around, because sometimes it gets heated, it gets emotional, right? Don't start the conversation when you're already upset. That's the other thing, folks. If you're already upset about something, don't start a money conversation with your spouse, because it's going to go south. Even the best Christians should be warned against doing that, right? So don't start it when you're already upset or when you've had a bad day at work, because all your frustration is going to come out in that conversation, even against your best attempts, right? And keep it fairly short and to the point. Facts and data, folks. Facts and data, folks. Keep the emotion out of it. See, you should also be able to have a good, healthy conversation in about 30 minutes. You see, when it drags on from there, because remember, this is just the first meeting. If it goes beyond 30 minutes, folks, normally it's going to turn into something ugly. So keep it short, simple, and to the point. You'll have time to have those other meetings. See, from that meeting, you schedule your next meeting. So then everybody can come to the table prepared. You see? Most importantly, what you have to do is make it a priority. See, if you're both planners, then you got to put it on the calendar. So like I said earlier, when you leave that meeting, you're going to have it on the calendar. On March 15th, we're going to come back at 7 o'clock and have this conversation. And then on April 1st, we're going to come back and we're going to have this conversation. But if you're scheduling the talk ahead of time, I want to make sure that you add some, don't worry about what's going to happen at the meeting. Just come to the meeting prepared and leave all your negative anticipation and all your negative tension out of the meeting. Just let the meeting happen naturally. And I guarantee you'll come out on the other side of it better. So pick your words, watch your tone, and then your timing has to be at the right time. Okay. If you and your spouse are fighting about money, maybe in addition to you sitting down and talking about it, maybe it's time to see a marriage counselor, a financial planning marriage counselor. You see? And in that appointment, there's some things you can do. You can ask yourself, what do we want to accomplish? What are our goals? So when you go to that meeting, because that person's going to ask you that, what are your goals? You want to make sure that you're locked and in sync together. If the goal is to save for, retirement, then make sure that you guys know that. And then you also know what retirement means to you and to your spouse or significant other. You got to make sure you're in lockstep. It has to work like gears in a car together, right? See how these gears just crossing like this together? You got to make sure you know all of that stuff up front. And if it's deep-rooted things that come from childhood, you need to understand that. You need to individually sit down and understand where your money limiting beliefs came from. You see, I have this journal that we use and we help people with. I'm not trying to talk about it today, but it's called the Abundance Journal for an Extraordinary Life. And what we do is at the very beginning, we ask you, what are your limiting beliefs around money? The very first, let me go to the first page. The very first question in your money past is, what is the first worry about money you had? Write down in detail, what was that first worry about money? Right? And then reflect on some bad money decisions that you made. What was your limiting beliefs? And where did those limiting beliefs come from? Those are the questions that you have to answer individually. And then you guys come together and answer those questions and talk about your individual responses, rather. So then you can come together as one, because money problems end more marriages than anything else. Money problems end more marriages than anything else. So you have to be willing to have the conversation. You have to be willing to sit down and know where you are. And you have to acknowledge if you're the spender or you're the saver. And if you are the spender, then you know what? Maybe you let your spouse who's the saver or your significant other who's the saver handle the monthly bills. I call it like your operational income. It's just like in a business, operational, not income, but your operational spending. That's day to day. Let that saver manage those things because they're going to be better for you. Now, I'm good at investing long term, so I handle that. Maybe you have to do that. You have to acknowledge, though, where you are on that spectrum. It's nothing bad against you. It's just that's who you are. And when you know that, then you can deal with it. So I'm glad I was able to share with you today the 3 ways to get your spouse on board financially. There's plenty of scripture. There's over 800 times that in the Bible that is written about money and how you should look at it, handle it, and all of those things. And I want you to understand, folks, when you think of the Bible, most people think of healing, prayer, and mercy. See, money is written in the Bible more than healing, prayer, and mercy. And that's for a reason. See, because God knows that he knew that money will take you away from him. So he writes about it a lot in the Bible. And all you have to do is open it up and read it. There's a lot that's there. I'm wearing my shirt today that has Isaiah 41 and 10 on it. And it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Fear not, for I am with you." I want you to understand. You can handle this in your family. You can handle this in your relationship if you fear not and know who's with you. And if he's with you, it doesn't matter if the whole world is against you. So I want to thank you very much this morning for tuning in for the 10-minute word. Now, some of you guys who are listening here are part of our Investing 101 Facebook group. If you're not, if you want to be a member of that Facebook group, let me know and we'll send you an invite to join that group. I'm going to start doing a weekly financial teaching, 30 minutes. A weekly financial teaching starting the week of March 15th. A weekly 30-minute teaching. Probably on Wednesdays around finances, just around finances, because I want to help people become better stewards of their money. I know that people can become better stewards of their money, and I have an obligation to share what's in here. And I'm going to be sharing everything about investing. I'm going to be sharing things about budgeting. I'm going to be sharing things about just little tips and tools that you can use in your finances every day to get better at it. Now, I don't claim to know everything around finances. I want to share what I know. You may find something different somewhere. That's okay. I'm just going to share with you what I know and what I use and what I have. So thank you guys very much. This Saturday, we're having Investment 101, the steps to 1 million. You can register for that. You still have time. Just let me know if you want that link to that, and I can put that in the comments. You still can register for that. It's a no charge 2-hour workshop on investing. When you leave from here, when you leave from that workshop, you will be able to start investing right away. That's what my goal is. And I know the information that I share in that workshop, you can, because there's a lot of people that have left that workshop and they're investing now. They're changing their financial future. And that's exactly what God intends. He says the rich rule over the poor and the borrower will always be slave to the lender. So, yes, my job, my goal, my hope, my wish, my dream for you is to be a better steward of your money. And I'm going to put this link because someone asked me to put that link in the chat. I just put it in the chat. Let me go to my Facebook page while I'm here as well, live with you, and put that there as well, so that way I'll make sure that it's everywhere. And then I'm going to be done here. So let me paste that in the chat right quick. All right. So that link is in the chat for you. So you can register for that webinar and masterclass that's coming up. It's called Investing 101, the Steps to 1 Million Masterclass. There's no charge. All you get is it's just your time, 2 hours, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central Time. This Saturday, March 13th. We do it every month, once a month. Thank you guys very much for tuning in for the 10-Minute Word today. The 10-Minute Word is a group designed to bring hope, inspiration, and motivation while delivering the word of Jesus Christ. We believe that he is our Lord and Savior. We believe he died for our salvations. We believe he is the ultimate leader. We believe because we believe. I'm going to see you next Sunday for another version of the 10-Minute Word, 9:30 a.m. Central Time. Thank you and have a good rest of your day and a great weekend.